And welcome to another episode of the Kinvestor Report, where I'm your host, Arlen, and I chat with industry experts about the market, commodity stocks, and the economy. As always, this interview is not an investment advice. I'm not a professional investment advisor or geologist slash engineer, but I've been investing and kicking rocks for over 24 years, visiting mines around the world. I've been super fortunate. Any financial interest that Kin Communications or myself has in companies mentioned in today's interview will be disclosed. So, and be sure to do your own due diligence. Today, I'm honored to be welcomed by Chen Lin back to the show. He is the editor or publisher behind What is Chen Buying? What is Chen Selling? And when he shares his insights and stock picks across the industries like mining, energy, and the biotech. So, Chen, we're back again. How you doing?
All right, very good.
Yeah. We're going to talk about all sorts of things today. I think during this market correction, I think it's an excellent time to kind of look at things again with a fresh set of eyes. Maybe hold some hands for some people out there that aren't convicted in this metals bull market that we are certainly in. What do you want to say about the recent mania that we've kind of witnessed and what is happening with the general market right now?
Yeah, it's very interesting. If you know, United States government is shut down as of today. I hope it will end soon because it's like a tightening. It's like as if Fed is tightening. You can go to Federal Reserve website. You look at the TGA, Treasury General Account. It's going like crazy because the Treasury are taking money in, but they're not spending. So basically, it's drawing all the liquidity into the TGA. It's already $1 trillion. Okay, so you can see all these, the spread for the loan, overnight loan, is already spiked 5-year high. So basically, the liquidity has been drained to this TGA account, Treasury General Account of United States Treasury. So as if we are tightening every day, you're choking on the neck every day. So that's created a situation. Everything is down. Every risk asset is down. It's down hard. Okay, you can look at the Bitcoin. You can look at AI stock. You look at almost everything, including gold and silver, which actually has a lot of opportunities there. So I'm quite excited because you can very hard to chase a runaway market, but when the market pull down, you can really think through what's going to happen next year or next few weeks. Eventually, our government will reopen, right? So,
Yeah, they have to
so
eventually.
the liquidity will come back, right?
Yeah,
So the big liquidity event.
yeah.
So
Well,
that's you should prepare for.
I kind of laugh when you say like correction. Like, what are we down? A couple $100 on gold? Is that the correction? Do you think there's more to the downside here?
Oh, I think here is pretty good. There's still a lot of central bank buying. The only one selling is Russia. I heard mostly selling in Russia because they have to sell. The oil price is down. They need to pay for their war. So they're the major sellers of gold. But all the rest are buying and just accumulating. The thesis hasn't changed. So it's a temporarily the tightening, the US dollar goes up, and then gold got a little bit weakened. Around hovering around 4,000. I think it's a pretty good place. Yeah, pretty interesting place. It could go down another $100. It's okay. Because if you look at all the gold mining company, they're budgeted for 2,500 gold, right? Maybe seldom might see a gold mining company budget for 3,000 gold. So it's still it's still a very, very healthy margin in the industry.
Yeah, well, I'm really looking forward to seeing when these big producers start putting out their next set of financials because I don't think inflation really hit over the last couple quarters, right? And we've seen this massive run in gold and silver, and these things should be gushing cash, right? But okay, I want to go back to your first thing, what you're saying about like the overnight loan. How does that relate to the price of gold and silver and the tightening?
It's basically the Fed, not Fed, our treasury is draining the money in this TGA account. So basically liquidity coming to treasury department account. So there's a less money outside. So it's like as if the Fed is tightened a few times. You think that in that situation, temporary tightening situation, everything perceivable risk got taken, right? Gold was a big winner this year. the people take profit. They want to book the profit. I understand that. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. There are people on CNBC say they sold half of their gold. That's fine. Selling probably almost over. They could be a little bit lingering. But we are in a very strong season for gold. There's a lot of physical buying of gold and silver, so I feel very good about it.
Does like so yeah, let's talk about like the physical buying of silver gold. Like with these increased prices, does that reduce significantly the amount of like jewelry buying and all those other reasons to buy silver and gold?
Yeah, there is a reduction for gold jewelry, I heard, but there is an increase of silver jewelry on the because silver
The poor man's
relatively
gold.
cheap.
Yeah, the poor man's gold,
Yeah,
right?
poor man's gold,
Yeah.
still relatively cheap. And then compare gold and silver ratio, historically is 10 to 1. The silver is still very, very cheap. Russia already declared silver is one of the monetary metal, right? India recently also declared semi-monetary. So basically, if you have a silver, you can go to Indian Reserve Bank, you can borrow against it, 85% of the face value. So that means you can don't, silver is an old and gold. They have both silver and gold. Okay, so you can just get it just as a cash, eventually become a semi-cash in India. I think that China probably under a lot of pressure to monetize silver. And then there's a big news last week. It's buried by all the noise that China will implement export control on silver starting next year. Export control, yes, just like theirs.
What? And so like what kind of what supply? How much of the world supply does China bring to silver?
Oh, silver apply at least 50% because the silver mostly is byproduct of copper and zinc and lead mine. So China has a lot of smelter. China's smelter is the biggest in the world. So as even China is not the biggest producer of the silver, it's one of the biggest, okay, not the biggest. But because the silver coming from byproduct, so actually China control more than 50% of the silver, worldwide silver production.
Are there any other major political regulatory risks in like these other silver producing jurisdictions, do you think that we should be kind of be keeping an eye on?
Yeah, there's of course the biggest is Mexico, and there's also others, Canada, US, Peru. There's quite a few in Americas, right? And so I think what happened was when China makes those kind of announcement, Trump sometimes he didn't hear it. And then when they reported about Fox News, he heard that he was start retaliate, right? So I think it just announced. It's in the Chinese official document. It's on the government website, 2026. So we'll start implement January 1st, 2026. So I think by December, now it's November, by December, Trump will hear it. And then may jump out of his chair, sofa chair, and say, okay, we're going to retaliate. Or I think very likely he was going to put on tariff on silver, just like copper, right? So, but the copper China didn't have extra control on, but silver does already have. It's there. So I think it's pretty logical that silver will have a tariff. You remember the rumor of the tariff on silver that brought all the silver from London to Chicago. That led to the recent London silver squeeze, right? And now all the silver actually came from Chicago, shipped back to London, as well as all the silver from China. And China, part of the reason China want to implement the export control is China lost half of the silver in the recent short squeeze. So they don't want this to happen. But think about what if Trump said we're going to really implement silver tariff? What's going to happen in London? Who's going to cover the short?
Well, that actually kind of leads me to my next question. Like, when everything was suppressed, when, silver was sub 20 and gold was, sub 2000 or whatever, everyone just talked about how the market was manipulated and manipulated and manipulated. Now that we've seen these massive increases in prices, I don't really hear much talk about like the market being manipulated on the paper game anymore. What's going on there? Is it still happening? Like what's your opinion there?
But recently we saw that in our real eye just happened a few weeks ago, right? So the lease rate of silver spike high because there's a apparently very large short position of silver in London, and those silver need to be delivered. So London silver price was $3 higher than Chicago and China. So all the silver fly to London to cover the short. That was a panic quite a couple of days. I mean, maybe a week or two, if you remember. So those days, and silver is over 50. Now silver only come down to 48. It didn't. Actually, silver correction, you would think gold go down 10%, silver can go down 20%. It didn't happen. Silver only go down maybe less than 10%. So silver is still very resilient. So something going on. I think silver's inventory is very low, even in London, in Chicago. So anything happen in the next few weeks, silver can really have spike higher. I see silver have very good chance to go to triple digit next year if all these things really what we see happen. And then silver is the best conductor. Silver used in AI, silver used in our cell phone, used in smartwatch, used in solar panel, used everywhere. It's the best conductor in the world. There's no replacement of that.
There's got to be replacements. Not at all.
Well, there are some substitution. They're trying to reduce the silver load content in the solar panel. What it does in China mostly, they instead of silver layer, they make a very fine silver layer on top of copper. So they can't use copper for that because the characteristic is not good for solar panel. But they put a silver layer on top of copper. Actually, they were reducing the silver load factor. It's possible, but need a lot of work. And also still doesn't eliminate silver, right? They still have a lot of silver. Still, silver is in deficit for the past 5 years. It will be continue for the foreseeable future.
Well, that's a really good overview of the silver market. Let's talk about the critical metal space now. Like this space has gone bananas.
Yeah, that was crazy. I have this energy field. It's just going like a gangbusters, and it came down a lot lately, partly due to the U.S. government shutdown. They are giving less funding. Not as fast as people thought, and then people are taking money out, taking the risk off. So I think the critical metals, rare earths, gallium, germanium, and all the other, including silver now, will have a very bright future for 2026. In some area you have to mine, you have to dig, you have to do the hard work to do the mine and then process them and to make the end product. So I feel this is another area we should pay attention to.
Well, I think you have to pay attention to it if the DOE starts stepping up and financing and taking equity interest in some of these companies.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like all those Alaska deals just went bananas after that, right? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
you
So I
know,
have some companies that are very close to getting the deal. So I'm quite excited. And besides the energy field, it seems to be obvious choice. They already got Australian government funding, and I hope they will get US government funding as well. I have another company. They have gallium in Peru, Cerro de Pasco. They are also working on US government funding. I hope when our shutdown is over, they will
yeah,
get government will finally write the check.
but do you think the US government's going to come into these assets that are not in the US soil?
They have no choice, right? So
Let's talk more about that. Let's talk more about that. Is it just
mhm.
because there is no gallium in the US? Period.
There is other galleons project, right? I have a Romaco, there's a Brooks mine, there's a gallium germanium, but that's a years away, right? United government actually, together with Japanese and Australian government have Alcoa AA to build a new gallium processing facility in Australia, right? They hope to get gallium out next year. So basically, that's another way to get from aluminum byproduct. Another known way to get gallium out is through zinc byproduct. That's the other company which I invest in. I think have very decent chance to get it. You've noticed one is in Australia, one is in Peru. So none of those are actually in United States, but we just trying to get as much as those in our hand, right? And then we ask question later. Maybe find some gallium in United States. There's some other companies have found galleons but early project exploration like Western Alaska. I don't know you know them. And they have found the galleon in their deposit, but it's in Alaska going to take some time to mine it out. maybe government will write them a check as well. So we're just waiting for the government shutdown to be over.
Well, this fast forwarding one is super interesting, right? Like, I think they're saying they want to be able to make production decisions in 18 months. Like, that's crazy.
That's impossible. That's impossible.
Yeah, so they say they're going to do it. Let's see if they actually do it. Um, I kind of want to I want to call this the title of this episode Resource Wars because
Yeah,
that's what like
resource.
it
Yeah.
kind of but the last time we did we got YouTube didn't like that. So I think we got our episode shut down or something like that. So we won't call this one Resource Wars, but it kind of feels like we're in that place in this world right now where it is a fight. It is a war to secure these natural resources that we need for survival
Oh yeah,
and for
absolutely.
growth, period.
Yeah.
If you don't see that, like take the freaking blinders off people. Like, come on. All right. Now, would you rather invest in Canadian mining stories or US mining stories right now?
Yes, those are the safest jurisdiction, and I personally also like U.S. and Canadian asset, and I've been to visit quite a few projects, yeah, this year. So, but it's all very good. I mean, there's a lot of company making a lot of progress. Junior space or producer. I have both. So, but let's cover those. Yeah, let's start with those.
Yeah. Okay. So let's maybe, if you don't mind throwing some names out on, we've talked a lot about silver. So if you want to throw out a couple silver names, I know that you've picked numbers like Argenta before, and that thing's gone from 25 cents. I don't know where it is today, but I think it's a four bagger. Um, Sarah Pasco, how's that been doing?
Yeah, Sarah de Pasco, they are doing a financing, unfortunately. So I think they'll close, financing will close this week, and then they will have news coming out. They're working on metallurgic study. They're also working on the Peruvian final approval of consolidate the space. And they're also working on US government funding. So all these three could come out by the end of the year. So I'm not talking very long, in 2 months. So finger crossed.
Hmm. Um, Throw out a couple other silver names that haven't
Yeah,
run, that haven't run yet.
yeah. Well, I have the Endeavor Silver. I think the big producer. I like this one of the silver producers because Terranora they start to finally get into production after 1 year delay. So I think that's a 7 million ounce silver equivalent, 60% silver, 40% gold. That's actually a lot of cash flow at this current gold and silver price, and the cash flow will start coming in Q4, so which we'll report it in Q1. As I've seen, I have so many success in the silver producer in the past years. Number one, Avino is my pick. Like all these, what I see is when you have a free cash flow, your share price appreciate the fastest. So when they have free cash flow, I think next year can do very well. That's just a producer. There are some others, smaller names. Another Guanajuato Silver is a small producer in Mexico. They just did a raise at 50 cents Canadian, now trading at 30 cents. Today, actually, all the Canadian silver name are down today. Actually, you pick a perfect day because they have a court ruling how the First Majestic liable for some Asian Asian tax, almost how many years ago? It's like almost 10 years ago tax, and they have to, and then all the Canadian name are down. I mean, all the Mexican producer are down. Most are trading in Canada. So that's the thing you can take a look because they're down. Some just down in sympathy, right? Because in Mexico, people worry about the Mexico. So you buy it when it's on sale. So that's some names you can take a look. And also, there's also exploration company. We mentioned now it's called Alaska Silver. It used to be called Western Alaska. That's exploration company in Alaska in US. And there's another in Apollo Silver. That's actually getting big already. They are mining in the United States. They have a project, CRD, high grade silver. They're working on social licensing in Mexico. I think that company is very close to a positive result for the social license. So that's another thing, another stock I'm quite excited about. So there's many of those names, and I can talk all day long, but
Yeah.
that's a few I like.
Yeah. And so when we're at this time in the market when like we're starting to see all these stocks run, everyone's getting bullish, these metal prices are going, some of these stocks are up two, three, four, 5x. Like what are some of the biggest mistakes you see retail investors make when they're opening their wallet to make investments?
Yeah, they like to buy cheap stock. And then turn out to be cheap. It's cheap for a reason. So it's a bear trap. You have to be very careful when you select, especially juniors. You need my personal personal experience is you need to have a basket of those. You need to have a very good asset and very good management, and then very good capital market, very good funds invested behind them. So all these has to be right for a big home run.
But let me stop you there, okay? Like that's easy for you to discern, right? Because you've been doing this for 20, 30 years, I'm sure. And you get to talk to these management teams and you've had 30 years experience of like seeing who's who in the zoo. You've probably visited a lot of mining projects and you study a lot of these projects. And you understand who's who in the zoo when it comes to money and capital and who can raise the money and who cannot tell a good story, and create liquidity in their stock. But like, how does the average retail person, who wants to kind of get into the game of this massive bull market that we're in mining stocks, that don't really have the access to the people and the knowledge that you do? Like you're a 22-year-old and you plain as day go, oh my God, we are in a bull market, but I know nothing. Where do they start?
Yeah, I think they can start attending some conferences. You just hosted a very good conference,
Oh,
right?
thank you.
So there's you can from there you can learn, and then you can meet or watch online the presentation on the management, and you can start getting some idea, getting your feedback.
Mhm. Well, I asked the same question to Rick Rule, right? He's just like, there's no excuse. He's like, you can go to any coffee shop in Vancouver, British Columbia, and probably find some sort of mining magnet that's worth, a billion dollars. And a lot of them are very kind and are willing to
Hmm.
share their knowledge about companies that they're, working on, et cetera, et cetera. And I do want to pass it on to our audience. We are like my audience. I can see who my audience is. It's growing with a lot more younger people, right, who are interested in this sector. And what I want to do is also make sure that they're not making the same mistakes I made at that early age in my life, chasing stocks, buying poor management teams, selling when I'm down and I'm scared, right? I really do want to educate this new wave of investors that are coming in because I think they're the ones that are the most susceptible to getting
Hmm.
hurt,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
By
absolutely.
by shitty promoters, excuse my language, by uncredible management teams, by assets that have been recycled four, five, six times over the last
Yeah,
60 years, right?
yeah.
That can never get off the ground. But hey,
Hmm.
every management team's got a great story to tell,
Hmm. Yes, yes,
right?
absolutely, absolutely.
Right. So what's your newsletter all about? Like, tell me a little bit more about that. It's called What Chen Buys and Sells. Is that what?
Right. So basically, I gave some analysis. For example, today I wrote it about why the market crashed today. So that's one my perspective of the market, and then what I'm looking at, what I'm buying, what I'm selling. So basically, that's a newsletter. Mostly actually for most audience of mine are fund managers and wealthy individuals, and so that tend to work the best. So because I know some are with me for more than 10 years. So if you're watching, thank you. Appreciate my support. Absolutely appreciate your support. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you do the Metals Investment Forum conferences,
Yes.
correct? Is that two or three times a year?
Yes, I also speak at PDAC and a few other conferences. So yeah, I come, but first get yourself feet wet. Come to one of the Metal Investment Foreign conference and come to your conference. There's other very good conferences here,
Yeah.
so you
I'd
can
like
get some idea.
I'd like everyone to know that I didn't pay Chen to say that. Just kidding.
No, 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 because you have yeah you work through the downturn and then you build your reputation. So that's it's well known.
I'm a survivor, that's for sure. That was a very, very long bear
Mm.
market.
Hmm.
I think we learn the most from bear markets.
Yes.
Like we don't learn if Yeah, like some of my stories, I was very fortunate on some names way back in the days where I would just say yes to everything. And I had a couple names that did extremely well. And I didn't learn anything from that because it was just like you just throw money and it was just up, 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 up. I've learned now through this last 13, 14-year bear market to discern who's the good management teams, what are the right type of assets, who can raise capital through bear markets, because those are the people that you want to put your money in. The guys that have done this time and time and time again, not just I had success in a bull market.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, bull market is easy, and bear market actually you can really learn how to invest. And so, and then I also went through this very brutal bear market. I
Yeah, it's
was
tough.
able to survive, because some newsletter fold, some newsletter they just quit. Some investor, yeah, there's quite
Yeah,
a few. So, I survived as well. So
yeah.
it's time to make some money.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it certainly is time to make some money. And hopefully we don't have to go through another bear market, you know. Hopefully we'll find a way to
I see every Monday, I see MMA now. I mean, not Monday. Monday has the most, but it also happen on other days. So recent, right? So we have a quarterly on buying new gold this week, and there's a lot of MMA activity going on at this high gold price. We're not talking about 45, just 4,000 gold price. Gold margin is so high. It's higher than almost every highest in the industry. You look at it, they're all in sustainable, maybe 1,500, right? You had the 4,000. That's a huge margin. And but gold company is still trading like Walmart. You know what I'm saying? So it's very cheap. The cash flow is tremendous, and there will be more and more MMA coming. I see will go through the food chain. There will be if you pick the right stock, hopefully my stock will be the next
yeah,
to
yeah, of
take
course.
over.
Well, that's what Adrian Day was saying too. He's just like, yeah, we've seen these gold stocks go higher, but in fact, they're on a fundamental basis, they're cheaper than when they were trading 20 or 30% lower, just because the
Yes, yes,
margins that they're
absolutely.
producing. And that's what I'm so excited about with these next kind of quarterlies that start coming out. Because I think, in my opinion, that's going to be a turning point for when the generalists start going, holy shit, these guys can make a ton of money.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's when,
absolutely.
and we need that generalist capital start entering our market to
Hmm.
be able to soak up the sellers, the non-believers, right? The people that are kind of saying, hey, I've already made 5x, I'm out looking for the next thing, right? You need that rotation of capital for sure.
Hmm.
Right on.
So yeah, yeah, especially in this pullback, actually there's a lot of opportunities. Even for big company, there's a lot of get hit very hard. So yeah,
Yeah.
just keep your eye open.
Yeah, awesome. I'm kind of a believer you could probably throw a dart at any of these metals right now and you'll do well in the long term. But is there anything in particular outside of the silver and some of these critical energy metals or critical metals that you think kind of looks extremely poised for the next run or something that should be accumulated because it's not being paid attention to?
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, if you want to go to specific names or just in general, market in general.
Both.
Both.
I want my cake and my icing too.
Yeah. Well, one of the other stock actually the big we're talking about first. Let's talking to big company like
Yeah.
B2 Gold actually got a 30% haircut in the past few weeks. Recently, you see a drop all the way to 200-day moving average, around 100, 200-day moving average. It's very seldom gold mining company done this hard. Why? Because Marley start to take away project. They're a big operator in Mali. So is Barrick, so is many other mining. They start to take project away from those companies who wouldn't invest, wouldn't operate in Mali. It's a political risk. B2Go has a big asset in Mali, but their mine has absolutely no problem. They already made a statement because when they was down so big, I already told my subscriber I don't think they have problem because they started Mali early. So they have a early the more favorable law already signed into law. They already have agreement with the government. So their mine has absolutely no impact. But while all the others, the CEO facing, being deported, arrested, and deported, including Barrick, you know, Bristol was forced to resign, right? It was replaced. Barrick was, oh, because Mali. But B2 has no problem with Mali. The mine's still operating, but the share go down so much because of Mali news. I think it could be an opportunity. Take a look. And especially the Goose mine, they're starting this year is on track. They have a good track record. B2 has very good track record starting in mine. So if this mine starts successfully, we go much higher. So I think this pullback is a buying opportunity. It's like it's basically a rollback. When gold was 3,000, you can buy at that price, right? So that's an opportunity for the big company. There's also some smaller companies, juniors, which I like. I know you may heard of them as well. One is an exploration company that's over in Argentina called Talk. You probably heard of that.
Yes,
Uh,
I have a financial interest in Torque. Just head right
yeah,
away.
me
Able to,
too. I
yeah,
have
okay.
also have a share. I've been buying from the open market just for full disclosure, because their stock came down a lot. If you look at the past few years, from $1 where Goldfield invested to 10 cents, nine and a half, I think, when I before I came up, 9.5 cents. So the stock was just go down because they had some difficulty in other project. Now they get rid of the other project, get rid of the cash drain. They are partnered with Goldfield. Goldfield spending all the money, and they already made a discovery. They're trying to find the highest grade, high grade core. So it's like they're looking for pebble discovery. Those kind of one of the largest in the world in Argentina, in elephant country, with quite a few world-class mine nearby. They're not looking for a few million ounces, probably looking for, of course, they'll start with a few million ounces, probably looking for tens of millions ounces. And then Goldfield is a partner. Goldfield is spending money. They just finished one season because seasonal, they just come back. They're going to start drilling this month. So if it hit, this will go up like crazy. And then they don't have the expense. They don't have the drain of the money anymore. So it's a free carry, free option. Right? And I think this looks like a very good price at this current stock price. 1/10 of it was.
Like
Yeah.
I think when you're like, yeah, there's a reason why I have a financial interest in that company, and it's because of the team there and the geology and the close play to Sarah Sally. Like I don't know if that's a 30 million ounce gold deposit, 40
Yeah,
million.
yeah,
I don't know
absolutely.
the exact numbers. Um, and Goldfields is spending the money. And if you're in exploration, in porphyry exploration particularly, I really think it's important to use big people's money because even if you make the discovery, you still need to drill the piss out of that thing for years and
Mhm.
years and years. And that is extremely capital intensive. And you'd get highs and lows in these junior markets, right? And sometimes
Yes.
it's easier to raise capital and sometimes it's
Yes.
not. But if you got a partner that's carrying you through to like a
Hmm.
production decision or a feasibility decision, I think that's a pretty good place to be. So that's why I have a financial interest in that company.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, that's that's just some of the stock. I think I feel very interested because I think this is the risk reward is pretty good, right? So that so an upside is almost unlimited. I wouldn't say unlimited, but if they hit, there will be something you remember for the rest of your life because it's just the upside so much. The stock has been compressed so low, and now the government, the company just hold on to the ground, right?
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Chen, I love talking to you, man. You're a lot of fun. And you actually bring an incredible amount of knowledge and knowledge to the show here, and experience. And I think you're a great speaker. And yeah, so thanks so much, very much for your time. And to all the listeners, if you'd like to keep up to date with Chen and learn more about what he's buying and selling, visit chenpicks.com or follow him on social media. We'll put the link at the bottom of our report here. And if you haven't already, join the Kinvestor Network as well by subscribing. And I do encourage the new investors out there and old to come and visit these management teams, meet them face to face. The next kind of live show that I know about in Canada is the VRIC. I don't know if you'll be there, but the MIF will be a bit rare there around too. Those are
Right before, yeah.
two conferences back to back that you can go meet management teams all day long and actually find out the DNA of who these guys are, right? If you feel
Absolutely.
comfortable with the management teams that you're putting money in, and if you have questions about those management teams, if you see me on the floor there or see Chen on the floor there, ask me about their reputation or their experiences or their wins, and I'd gladly share my 25 years of experience of getting to know these management teams with my audience and my readers. So
Absolutely.
there you
Likewise.
go.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, Chen, so much. We'll talk again.
Yeah, thank you.